What's going on, you bunch of larrikins? Welcome back to another video. Today is finally the day that the big 80 bus receives some new suspension. Well, it's already in the car now, everything's finished, but today's the day you get to see the 80 bus receive some new suspension, wheels and tyres. But just quickly before we get into the video, I want to give a huge shout out to Superior Engineering and All Terrain Industries. Superior for helping us out a little bit with the suspension, and then All Terrain Industries for helping us out with the wheels as well. These things are absolutely insane. I'll try not to yap too much, but I'll let you know now that the video is a bit all over the shop just because I was in and out trying to work on the car. And for most of the work, I was filming by myself, which made it really difficult to get the shots and inform you all on what's going on. So tried my best. At the end, we're going to do a complete run through of the car, so make sure you stick around for that one. And yeah, let's get into it. Alrighty, here we are at the Superior Engineering showroom in Burpengary, picking up all of the parts out the back of the warehouse. Huge shout out to Mitch and the rest of the crew for being so accommodating and getting all the parts in on time for me. We were on a tight time schedule, but we got it done. We'll start pulling the goodies out and I'll show you what we've got. There's actually so many bits of kit in the back of this car right now. It's insane. It looks like I've just stolen the whole Superior showroom. Oh, what's this? The first ever Lifted Larrikins hoodie, which is now a rag because I ran out of rags when doing my swivel hub. So that's unfortunate, but it's a really good rag. So if you do want a quality rag, jump onto the website here and pick yourself up one. They're also pretty comfortable too, just a side note. The coils, these are the radius arms. That's what happens when you spill water on a cardboard box. It doesn't really like it, so pro tip, don't do that. And the Lifted Larrikins stubby cooler. Jesus. So yeah, a fair bit of kit going on here, but we'll get into the car eventually. So let's get cracking. All right, so get it out of it, it's so close. All right, so we've ripped out the first radius arm. Had to do a bit of bush mechanic to get it out, but it's out now. And these are the new Superior Engineering Hyperflex arms. Get a load of those. Super shiny. All right, we're gonna cut to us putting it in now, and then hopefully it goes very smoothly. All right, so remove the radius arm. Now I'm going to chop the sway bar mount off using my angle grinder and my safety squints. And then once that's off, we're gonna just paint over the grinded area and then hopefully chuck the new radius arm in. All right, now we somehow got to chop these sway bar mounts off without actually deleting myself in the process. All right, it's a little bit sketchy. I really can't see anything out of these glasses, but we've got some glasses instead of safety squints. And we jacked up, show them the front of the car, how we jacked this up off the bull bar mounts and jack standers back up. This lands on me, I am Gonski. So let's try not to chop my fingers off or anything else that doesn't need to be cut off. Right. Dude, I'm so scared. This is actually like terrifying. Alex, I need Alex. Is it tickling you? A little bit. Alrighty, got these bad boys off with super straight cuts as well, as you can see. So here we are trying to fit the radius arm for the first time, and we ran into the issue of needing to do some more grinding on a little brake bracket so the caster plates could fit, and yeah, they didn't fit, and this is when we realized that we needed to get the grinder out again. So yeah, you'll see that coming up in just a tick. Dude.
Not a bad idea.
Oh my god. I just sprayed WD-40 all over the front of my car. Dude, I love working on old cars.
Yeah, okay. Alright, much appreciated, mate. I'll figure something out and I'll bring cash for you. And text me your Addy, I'll come and grab it. Oh, my bar work's ready to be picked up. Only like 400 years later. See, WD-40, mate, does all the things.
I think maybe because you had a bloody 700 horsepower rattle gun. Yeah, where's the nut you pulled off all the hardware for this one? Big rig, mate! Look at that. Tough Dog 6-month review.
And Kempy's now turned into a tough dog. Holy, look how ruined that shock is. It's got no gas in it. It's got some like resistance at least.
There we go.
Look at that brake line, little guitar string.
Alex is picking up his bar work, so we're all going to go and grab that now. What's happened, mate?
I don't know what just went up my rear end, but I got it.
Alright, let me just grab first. Oh, wrong gear stick. Let me just check that I'm neutral.
We're off to get some sliders for Alex's 80 series and then gonna get some dinner and crack back into the suspension.
Should I get out from underneath the car before it drops on me?
There's only about a 55% chance it's going to fall on him. So, in Kempy's scenario, he'll probably most likely need spacers. And since I'm absolutely lazy and I've already put away all the tools, I'm not doing this by hand. Sorry.
Doing some research.
Trying to research. Also, I can't see because I got spark from the grind in my eyeball.
So, as far as we go.
This is going to be the most cooked episode ever. So, when installing these coil compressors, you want to ensure that your coil compressor is where you can undo it again once it's in the car.
Dude, I'm sure your neighbours will love you right now.
Yeah, I know. So all you need to do is just yeet this out. This can go in the bin. When you coil compress coils, make sure you don't stand on either end of it. Make sure you have it angled to your mate. So like this, exactly in the hit zone. So when you coil compress, just make sure it's flying. There we go, beautiful work, mate. Can you say something to Little Larrikins? How's your progress going at the moment?
Good. We're definitely not about 7 hours into the job, so yeah.
We started at how early this morning?
Like 10.
And we've
And now it's almost 7 p.m. We've got one radius arm out, one spring out, and one shock out. 2 shocks out.
First piece of superior gear is on the Little Larrikins.
Oh my goodness.
Look at that.
10 hours for that. Let's go.
Yeah, literally. 10 hours later, in Alex's backyard, we've got one bum stop extension on. Because I'm probably going to have to compress the coil some more.
Yeah.
Because issue A here is that Kempy's stupid bump stop extension now means it's even more difficult for this coil to go in. It'd be great if we could raise your vehicle a bit more, but anyway.
That's the max.
Bro, that jack is just sitting on that. Holy.
Superior engineering. The shock for you.
Where do these end up going?
Not yeah, there.
In.
Superior shock absorber installed.
Alrighty guys, this is the next day. We'll show you what we ended up doing last night because it ended in a bit of shambles and we were rushing to get stuff done. But essentially we got caught up on doing the radius arms for like 6 hours and then it turned night time and then we were working through the night. So we got one of the radius arms out, we cut off the sway bar mounts on the diff and then we started to cut. There's a little brake bracket down here. That little brake bracket, I'll put a circle on it or something. We need to cut that just a fraction so that the new radius arm caster plates can fit either side of it. We moved on from that job and then we put in the coils and the new remote res shocks. So in there you got the new coils. All the paint is absolutely pulled off because we had a fight with the coil compressors. Put the bump stop extensions in. Still got to tighten this one up because we couldn't get the coil in because it was extended. So still got to tighten this one up. Other side's good. So the other jobs today will be the adjustable panhard in the front and then the steering dampener as well. So yeah, we'll get cracking on that. What do we think about Mitchell's sunglasses? I'm just getting myself a new King Chrome. What are they called? The floor trolleys that you lay on?
Skateboards.
Getting myself a new King Chrome skateboard to lay on under the car. I don't know if you can see it, but it says King Chrome. Okay, that's unfortunate. There's a bit going on down here, Crofty. So we're going to secure the shock sock to keep the shrapnel out of the shocks. So we've decided to chuck the tail shaft spacer in now, just while we're down here. It's a very easy job. All you need is like a 14mm to get the original nuts and bolts off, and then the new bolts and nuts are 16mm. Does help if you have ratchet spanners, just a lot easier. Anyway, I don't have a 16mm ratchet spanner for some reason.
Bang, bit of pre-lubrication so it doesn't rust up.
You're going to put this leg up here for extra leverage when you're cracking your panhard bolts. Just like this. Bang. Now the panhard's just stuck in there, so I'm trying to wedge it out. You'll see the bushings are all completely flogged in it, so They're just getting caught up as I'm trying to pull it out. There we go, that's the bottom one out. Now a good way to see if you've actually got it the same length, which comes in handy later on when we're doing like upper control arms and lower control arms and stuff. Chuck the old bolt through there. Then you can either look down the hole here and see if it lines up, or keep extending it until it does line up. Right there is the factory length. Then we're just gonna give it, I don't know, probably 3 or so more rotations. I have no idea. Make it a little bit longer. Yeah, we'll get it all done properly on the wheel aligner. All right, come with me as we retire this old pan hub to the graveyard. Actually, while we're here, I better show you this. All right, these were the shocks we pulled out. Now, if you understand shocks, you should realize that they shouldn't stay compressed. Like when you compress them, they should automatically start to rebound back out. But I've compressed these and they don't want to come back out. Like these things are absolutely stuffed, no gas left in them.
It ain't got no gas in it.
You can see they've leaked out oil, just absolutely rooted. This one's a bit better, but you compress it all the way and it's not returning itself. Definitely overdue for some shocks. And then these coils, I mean, there's nothing really wrong with them. They're just covered in soot and gross stuff, but they're probably quite sag. Like they're very light compared to the other ones. And yeah, that time we just get rid of them. Anyway, now we're on to the steering damper. Steering damper. So what we've gone with here is the IFP steering damper. Apparently it's the better one. I actually have no idea what the difference is. This was just a more expensive one, so we're like, yep, that's got to be better. Golly gosh, that's shiny. Let me just wipe all my dirty hands on it. Wow. Dude, this Ugga Dugger is actually awesome. Great purchase. Alrighty, g'day everyone. So we're definitely jumping around a fair bit when it comes to recording this. Don't worry, at the end we'll have a full run through of everything and show you over it completely, but it's all a bit of shambles right now just because I'm in and out, can't work on this all the time every single minute of the day, so I'm doing little bits here and there, and that's what it's all about really. Like most of you guys at home won't have every second of the day to be working on your vehicle, so it's sort of like come out, do what you can when you can, and yeah, soon enough it'll be finished. I'll show you where we're up to now though. So the front end of the 80 series is pretty much done. I've put in all the suspension that I can, and I'm just waiting for Alex to come around so I can pick his brain a little bit when it comes to some of the front end suspension stuff and how to install it. But now we're onto the rear of the vehicle, and this is the setup that we're working with when it comes to getting some clearance in the back. Now, it's not the best, but it is relatively safe. The thing that sucks about working on grass is that your jack stands just want to sink into the ground. So while using bricks isn't the preferred method, even if one of these bricks cracks, it's not going to just cave away. Like there is still going to be support underneath for the jack stand. And then I just have the bottle jack there as backup for the 2 jack stands. Make sure you chock your tires, make sure you do it all safe. Like this is pretty much as safe as you can get when it comes to doing the back end. I still have the tires on the vehicle, so if it does drop, it's not going to crush me too much or crush me at all. The main issue I'm having is jacking up the back end high enough to a point where I can get the springs in and out easily enough. This is the driver's side rear shock that I just pulled out, fully compressed, doesn't have any rebound at all, absolutely rooted, look at that. And then this was the coil. I mean, it doesn't seem too bad, it's pretty firm. Obviously there's no real way to tell how good they are unless you're in the vehicle, and they were sagging quite a lot in the back when I had some load in there, so good to swap those out too. And obviously they're very small, they're not 4-inch coils like I'm putting in. From this angle you can get sort of an understanding of what the vehicle is going to sit at. It's around this clearance, maybe a little bit less, and then by the time I fit the 35s, it'll fill that wheel arch out a little bit. So yeah, just putting along slowly and we'll keep you updated when I can. So I just want to show you all what I'm up to at the moment. I've currently pulled out the rear sway bar, getting ready to put the sway bar extensions in. And I just wanted to show you the difference between the standard sway bar brackets that connect to the chassis and the Superior Engineering upgraded lengthened ones. So right here, we've got the standard size chassis to sway bar mount. As you can see, I mean, it's pretty normal. And here, this is our lengthened rear sway bar mount. So what this does, it just allows for more articulation in the rear. It also allows for the sway bar to be happier in where it sits. And you'll come to find that if you don't extend your sway bars, the car will feel super boaty on a big lift. But as soon as you put one of these in, it'll feel heaps more controllable and the car will just drive overall 10 times better. Now, if you don't extend your sway bars and choose just to rip them out when you lift the car because they don't fit, etc., you're an idiot. Don't do that. do it properly, get sway bar extensions for the front and the rear, and the car will drive 10 times better. If you really want to, when you go full driving, you can pull the front or the rear sway bar out. It takes literally 2 seconds, but put your sway bars in. Don't be idiots. All right, happens all the time. Working on your car, something goes wrong and it takes 6 hours to fix the issue. So now I'll fill you in on what's happened here. As you know, I took the existing coils out. There they are right there. And that was relatively easy. Then came the task of putting the new coils in. It was going all right at first. I thought I had the car jacked up enough. I've done this before on my old car. I had it jacked up all the way to the point where the rear diff was almost off the ground and the wheels, etc. So then I started compressing the coil, and I compressed the coil with some nice coil compressors. These aren't cheap ones, and we ran into this issue. As you know, coil compressors are meant to be one piece. You might be looking at this and thinking, why are they in multiple pieces? I couldn't get the coil to compress enough, and I was really ripping it down. Probably torqued it down a bit too much. It was pretty close, like I was off by 1 mil, so I tried to give that little bit extra, and then bang, one of the coil compressors snapped. That gave me a hell of a fright because I was standing on top of the coil with the agga-dugga going down on it like that, but nothing happened. The second coil compressor actually saved me, I guess you could say. I mean, it saved my leg, saved everything from exploding, and it managed to stay intact. Now these coil compressors are super old, and one of the heads where you actually agga-dugga and get it off was getting pretty stripped, like it was on its last little leg, and I'll show you what happened there. So as I was undoing the second side of the coil compressor, I managed to turn it completely circular, just stripped it into the stratosphere. This thing is absolutely stuffed. You couldn't get any more circular than that. Put that on your hub and you'll be able to drive down the highway. It's that circular. So it only left me one option, and it's not the option I wanted to do, but I had to bust out the grinder. So I'll throw in a clip here. I was recording it on Snapchat just in case something happened, but throw in the clip here. I've just run the grinder along that, and it's like half split. So when I went to cut it with the grinder, I was standing to the side of it, cut it about halfway, because I didn't want to cut it all the way through, and then the grinder get flung across the whole backyard when it actually snapped. So cut it about halfway, got the hammer out, ding, and then as you saw, the whole coil just exploded. Now, turned me into a ballerina for a second, absolute twinkle toes, trying to get out of the way, but got it done, all fixed. Went and picked up a brand new set of these coil compressors, way better design over these old ones. This one just uses a standard 24mm head, which is not the best because they are super prone to stripping. And this is the head design that the new coil compressors have, which I definitely recommend. These ones use a 1/2-inch drive, so connect straight up to the agga-dugga, and then off it came, and then straight on, straight off. The whole ordeal with the rear springs, the passenger side took me about 4 hours just because coil compressors weren't working, the car wasn't getting jacked up high enough, all that fun stuff. Finally sorted it out, got the new coil compressors, had it in within 10 minutes. Second side had it in less than 2 minutes, literally straight out, straight in, super quick. So yeah, all I'm saying, do it once, do it right, and do it safe. Now we'll put the rear shocks in while it's still daylight, and yeah, we'll be one step closer to being finished.
What do we have in this box? Oh, are those the nice and shiny upper control arms? Sure are, get a load of these things. All adjustable and look absolutely unreal.
Just trying to line it up.
Oh, I see. I see.
It's all like...
The diff has to go forward. Like, what if I lifted the front end of the car up?
That's what I'm thinking.
With like my deadlifting skills.
Yeah, that'll do it. So if we jack the car up...
The full bar is not secured at all. Did that work when I did that?
Yep. So I think we jack the front of the car up, and then that'll flex it out, hopefully.
We go. time to play around. Wow, making beats up in my playground. Since I was a kid, I knew I always had to make sound.
Alright, little Larrikins, here we are balancing the beadlocks. So these balance pretty well. They're obviously a mud tyre with beadlocks, so there's a lot of weight to them. But they're not as bad as some of them, like the Trepadors and stuff, don't even bother. But yeah, we'll get them as good as we can with wheel weights. They're an alloy weight, so when you balance them, make sure you set them on static for these beadlocks and alloy wheels. I'm actually kind of hungry for one of these. $80 grams. Not too bad. So these are strips of 60. So we'll chuck a 60 on and we'll chuck another 10 on after that. So this is a great tyre balancer where it'll tell me and light up exactly where the top is and where it wants me to put the wheel weight. I'll chuck on another 15 for now and see how she goes before I go with all out with all of it. And off we go. So it's asking for 20 gram. I usually don't do the whole weight all at once. The reason is sometimes it wants to calibrate exactly where it is. So I usually do like 70% of it and then do it another spin. This is a good example here where it's asked me now. This is where I would have put all the weights before and now it's asking for weights here. So we'll put some more there and see how she goes. Ooh! 0. See, that's why you don't add those extra. If you want to do exact, this one is 2 gram out. So close enough. Not my car.
Whoa.
Hey, bad, hit a $250,000 when it's here, pretty chilly. I've been trying to find me really wow. Silly, yo, I be gone like Cheerio. Really though, swear we finna get the gold. You the goat, but the most been getting old. Standing still, yeah, I'm getting way too cold. Like it's uno dos, I go single on these hoes. Doesn't songs, doesn't shows, guess that's just one way to grow.
Alright, another day working on the 80 series. The suspension is complete. Besides, I'm just waiting on one of the brake lines to come back, and then I'm waiting for the ground to not be full of mud to mount these rear resis. Other than that, complete for the suspension, and now comes the fun task of seating and torquing down all the locking ring bolts for the beadlocks. So I've just nipped all of these up now, and then I'll bust out the torque wrench to seat them all down correctly. So we'll get into that now, a little bit of a time lapse. I was trying to film a nice inflation bit for you, and the XTM bloody dual compressor has died. Apparently if it gets too hot it does a thing where it just turns off, and I'm on the 5th tyre right now, so it could have just gotten too hot. But don't buy cheap, just don't buy cheap stuff. It's so close to beating itself too.
For the bathroom, round and around, yeah, round and around we go. Picture perfect, but so many flows to stop you. I don't wanna ever see you in the same room. I open up and then you hit on all my issues. Round and around we go, we go.
Alright, so what I'm going to do to make it simple is run through from the front to the back of the car and just insert B-roll over the clips showing off the parts and whatnot. Alright, so first we'll start with the suspension. Essentially what I'm running is 4-inch coils front and rear. We have 150 kilo rated coils in the front, and in the rear we originally had 350 kilo rated coils, which you saw me install in the video, but as of last night we swapped it out with Alex's coils, which are 250 kilo rated, just because I had no weight in the back and we wanted to even it out a little bit more. Also, he needed the coils to go to the Sydney 4-wheel drive show because of all the weight he was carrying. Anyway, 4-inch coils. We have 6-inch 2.0 remote res shocks from Superior. I think these things have about 12 inches of travel. I'm not entirely sure off the top of my head, but pretty flexy. To help with the flex, we have the Superior Engineering 4-inch Hyperflex arms. And then of course, these sway bar mounts and whatnot to suit with the sway bar mounting to the Hyperflex arms. Also in the front, we have a Superior Engineering IFP steering damper. It just helps with these bigger tires a little bit, and it also helps with trying to take the vibration out of the steering when you go over the big bumps and whatnot. We also have an adjustable panhard rod in the front, so we can center those diffs underneath the car, because when you lift the chassis away from the diffs shift over a little bit because the existing arms are being stretched. So adjustable arms front and rear to counteract that and bring the diff back towards the middle of the car. And I'll mention it now, all over the car we have extended braided brake lines, and even the brake lines that go from the diff to the rotor, like those smaller ones, they're braided as well. So increased durability and that long-term protection of not having those rubber hoses, which are extremely prone to cracking over time and splitting and pulling off and whatnot. So good investment for the brakes. We've also got our bump stop extensions. To be honest, I'm not sure if they're the right size, so I need to do a bit of testing and flex it out and see if we can hit the bumps, but so far they're in. It's all changeable in the future if I want to change it, which is the best part about doing your own suspension and stuff. You know what you're putting in, you know what can be changed, and you know how you want the car to ride. So very, very customizable. Oh yeah, and also there's no front drive shaft in the car. This is because I'm installing a part-time conversion kit to turn it from a full-time four-wheel drive into a part-time four-wheel drive. So that's due to the fact that I was getting vibrations in the front drive shaft after lifting the car, which is apparently pretty common with these all-time four-wheel drives. So the way to get around that is change your pinion angle or part-time conversion kit so the drive shaft only vibrates when you're in four-wheel drive. But then again, when you're in four-wheel drive, you're not going very fast, and it only started to vibrate at about 40 k's an hour. So it's just one of those things that you have to compromise with a little bit when you do lift a vehicle like this. All your angles are going to be different to standard, so these things kind of happen. Anyway, I had a front drive shaft spacer in there, but it's obviously all out right now, but we'll be going back in once I put the part-time kit into the 80 series. Another thing I haven't installed is the gearbox drop. I'm pretty sure it's just a little plate about 10 mil thick to drop your gearbox a little bit to help with the pinion angle in the front and the rear. I'm waiting to install that because I will be pulling the gearbox out sometime in the future to replace the clutch and replace the rear main and do a few things. So not going to do it now, not going to worry about it right now. I'm just going to hold off and wait till I've pulled it all out, and I'll do it all at the same time. All right, now moving to the rear of the car. Let's see what we've got here. So we have adjustable upper and lower control arms to help with your pinion angle, as well as your tyre positioning within the guard and where your diff is located forward and back within the car. The next thing I can see in here is our sway bar extensions, and I explained this earlier, obviously to help with the sway of the car. When you lift it up, everything's getting flexed up heaps, so have to put those sway bar extensions in to drop it down to a happy height again. Then we have the same shocks in the rear as the front, those 6-inch remote res Superior Engineering ones. And then yeah, as I said before, we swapped out the coils for those heavier ones you saw earlier in the video to these lighter ones. They're still pretty heavy, they're plus 250 kilos. So at the moment it sits a little bit Cali lean, but pretty well flat overall. I mean, it looks way better than it did with the heavier ones in. With the heavier ones in, it had about a 7-inch lift in the back and 4 in the front. So not a bad idea to swap them out. And then it's also interchangeable, like you can mess around with it so much. Next, we've got our adjustable panhard, which we talked about before, to help center that diff under the car. Braided brake lines all around. What else is actually under here, eh? And then we've also got a brake proportioning valve bracket, which actually brings up the brake proportioning valve a touch higher, so it helps even out that braking when you are on the brakes. Again, just because everything's pulled so much higher, it's out of whack, you got to adjust it. Then while we're at the back here, something I forgot about, a couple of new taillights have gone in. So I was unsure whether to go with this smoked sort of black looking taillight, just for the fact that the car's pretty light and white and all that stuff. I was thinking about going with a clear taillight. They were pretty cheap, just some eBay spec ones, and after I ordered them, chucked them in, and I'm pretty happy with it. They do look a little bit dark from afar, but when you get up close, they do actually look quite clear from the back. So yeah, just a nice little addition to the car. And I also decided to paint the wheel arches last night, so it looks a little bit classier. That's also why I'm covered in black spray paint, just because it was dark, and I guess I decided to respray myself, so that's going to be fun to get off. And I think that's pretty much it for the suspension setup. Like, it's a pretty tame suspension setup to get started. The main reason for me doing it was to be able to fit the bigger tires, which we'll talk about in a second. But the bigger tires, as well as clearance and all that fun stuff. The old suspension was just so rooted, which you would have seen, so definitely overdue. And I'm glad I did it this way. And yeah, we'll see how things go with it. We'll flex it up in a little bit, and I'll show you what it looks like as well. Now this is probably what gets the most attention on the car, the wheels and tyres. So what we're working with is a 17-inch wheel from All Terrain Industries. It's their AT01 hybrid beadlock. Awesome bit of kit. Like, it's actually quite well priced for an alloy beadlock, and it looks absolutely amazing. Comes clear coated already. Not a bad idea to put some like ceramic wax coating or something like that on it too, just for extra protection. But straight out of the box, you're able to chuck it right onto the car, wrap it in some wheels and get going. And then wrapped around the wheel, we have a 315/70 R17 Maxxis Razor mud tire. Now this thing's pretty cool. They were hard to find and kind of expensive, but Bud's tires helped us out a little bit with the price. Managed to bring it down a fraction per tire. Yeah, they're a nice tire. Ran them on my old car. Never had an issue with them. I know some people talk about them being cheap and falling apart, sidewalls breaking and whatnot, but yeah, never had an issue and I'm really happy with them. And for a big mud terrain tire, as well as the alloy wheels, this thing actually drives pretty well. And it was actually quite easy to balance these wheels. They weren't off by very far, and yeah, it was quite surprising actually. But so far driving this car around town, I have gotten quite a few compliments on the wheels, on the tires, and on the suspension, and that's literally all I've done to the car. As you've seen, it's completely stock standard besides what I've just done here. So wheels, tires, and suspension definitely do change the look of a car. And if I were to pick some first mods to do to your four-wheel drive to make it more capable, wheels and tires, doesn't have to be all flashy, but wheels and tires, and then suspension would be next to really get that clearance off-road and yeah, go out and get wheeling. Do you really need all of this? No, not at all. Does it look absolutely insane? Yes, and that's why I like it. All right, my camera's about to die, but just want to quickly say we're going to be at the Sydney 4-Wheel Drive show, so if you do see us there this weekend, come up, say hi, we'll give you a sticker. But yeah, got to wrap this video up pretty quickly before the camera dies. I really hope you enjoyed the episode. Like, this episode took such a long time with all the filming and all the editing and whatnot. Also, huge thanks for all the views on the recent videos. Again, I really appreciate it, all the support. It's absolutely unreal. Make sure you follow us on Instagram. Also, stay up to date on our website. Make sure you cop some merch and some stickers if you want to help support, but we'll catch you in the next episode.